Is this the next Xbox? Well, of course the answer is no, because it is a fridge. But what do we know about the upcoming Project Helix and the PlayStation 6? And are these next-gen consoles in for a bit of a rough ride? Because they are coming, the rumored specs look great, and there are some amazing games right around the corner that I'd love to see get a next-gen upgrade. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how much better games can look than Forza Horizon 6 here, but with GTA 6 confirmed for November 19th, while we're not going to get new consoles this year, it's very much going to be a holiday 2027, I would probably pay quite a lot of money to get a next-gen PS6 version of Grand Theft Auto 6. But with sky-high component prices that do not seem to be going down anytime soon, with Xbox having a total, I was going to say meltdown, but let's call that reset, studios shutting down and layoffs on both sides, just how much of a mess are these next-gen consoles in? Let's talk about Xbox, because they're having a bit of a shake-up. And at the beginning of June, the new Xbox CEO Asher Sharma and strategy chief Matthew Ball wrote to employees laying out all the past mistakes and the myriad of difficulties facing the brand. And there's a lot of them. Not least the component price crisis, where they estimate storage prices in 2027, when they will launch the next Xbox, currently it's sort of Project Helix, will be 5 times the price than the same storage would be in 2025, just last year. The numbers are crazy. Microsoft reckon they spent over $20 billion subsidizing Xbox, the hardware division, game studios, to try and build market share, but it's barely made a dent. All this speaks to a total reset of Xbox strategy, which I think they need. I mean, possibly even outsourcing the hardware to other OEMs, like we saw with the Asus ROG Xbox Ally, the gaming handheld. There's rumors that the next Xbox will be so expensive that you'll have to pay a subscription, or you'll probably want to pay a subscription for Game Pass and the physical console itself. Or like this gen with the Series S and the X, again having a 2-tier lineup. There's talk of even that it would ship without a controller to keep costs down. Things need to change, although this short-term pain could be exactly what Microsoft needs. A healthy Xbox competitor to keep Sony in their place, keep both brands being competitive so things don't get even more expensive for us, and also just so we get more games. That's the whole point of all this. And if we don't have healthy competition, then Sony will just do whatever they want, and they'll raise their PSN prices even more, because that might be your only option. And speaking of Sony, they have been streamlining as well, dropping a handful of studios over the last year or so, although they do have the nearly 100 million PS5 sales to keep them going. So of course nothing is confirmed right now. What we do know is that Xbox do have this next generation Project Helix that they're working on, which is the next Xbox. That's basically all we know. And of course Sony is working on things behind the scenes. The expectation is that developer hardware units will go out to studios and developers early next year, with a holiday 2027 release date for the PS6 and at least one new Xbox. At least one. It's frustrating because I'm seeing contradictory reports that the PS6 and Project Helix are either on track or actually maybe pushed to early 2028. But if I had to guess, I would still go with holiday 2027, as pushback to the following year probably won't make a difference to component prices, and adding in delays creates extra costs for both companies and is a headache for developers. The big difference this time is, while we're expecting the PlayStation 6 to be a similar traditional expensive console, Xbox's Project Helix is shaping up to be more of a PC games console hybrid, similar to what we've seen with that ROG Xbox Ally, where Windows is behind the scenes, giving you access to different stores, different game stores, but then on the front end, it is still an Xbox. That means it can play Xbox and PC games. It means you can install third-party launchers like Steam, Epic, Battle.net, and likely other Windows apps and emulators. But then that's going to have stiff competition from Valve's Steam machines. Those will play Steam PC games and have a Linux desktop, so you can have other launchers and emulation as well. Call me a Steam machine skeptic though. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the idea. Easy to use entry-level PC in a tiny, cute form factor with a terrific controller, but it costs $1,000 with a controller and is still outperformed by the current gen PS5 Pro, while still costing hundreds more. So the Steam machine is not in the same category as these next-gen consoles. Should we talk about price? It's going to be a lot more than the current generation. I think we'd be lucky if we saw a £699, $799 US console. That would be with some heavy subsidies from the brands. We cannot see an $899 or a $999. That kind of 1,000 price mark, the average casual console gamer is not going to spend that kind of money. I mean, they're probably not even going to spend $799, but anything approaching 1,000, that's for the more enthusiast PC market. I think we're going to see 3 options. We're going to see buying it outright for, let's say, $699, $799. we're going to see a subscription option where with like Project Helix, you pay, let's say, Game Pass Ultimate Pro Plus Max, where you get access to all the games, and for $50 a month, £50 a month, you also get the new console over like a 2-year contract or something. And thirdly, I think a smart move would be to have a 2-tier option, one with less storage, maybe a slightly downclocked GPU, one that's designed for 1080p gaming rather than 4K. So you get similar hardware that can play the same games, just at a different level of fidelity and resolution. If that then means you can have a more casual $499 Xbox option, plus a more pro level $7 or $899 option, that would hopefully lead to some Xboxes at least being sold. And you know what? I wouldn't put it past them to give us an ad tier to the new consoles. You pay a little bit less, but you get advertisements on the home screen. Ugh. But that's just speculation, of course. A lot can change in the next year or so. But let's talk about the specs, the actual hardware, because we do have a better idea of what actually will be powering these next-gen consoles. We know they'll both use custom chips based on AMD's Zen 6 processor, the CPU, and also their next-gen RDNA 5 graphics, with unified GDDR7 RAM, although we don't know just how much yet. That's probably going to come down to cost. But while the PlayStation 6 has an APU, where the CPU and the GPU share a single die, the Xbox uses a chiplet design, where the GPU dies are separate, more like a traditional gaming PC. So rumor has it the next Xbox could be a good deal more powerful than the PlayStation, using full-size Zen 6 cores, whereas the PlayStation will use more compact, sort of cut-down Zen 6 C cores from AMD. It might get a larger memory bus and slightly more memory as well, along with a rumored dedicated NPU chip that's for on-device AI stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want the best, I want the most powerful console experience possible, but all that comes at the compromise of putting the price up. So don't be surprised if both new consoles, both next-gen consoles in late 2027, ship with just a terabyte of storage, which is not much more than you got with the base PS5 6 years ago, and half what you get with the PS5 Pro right now. But of course, that itself has also gone up in price quite a lot recently. Oh, and without question, disk drives, if they're even an option, will be sold separately. You ain't getting a free disk drive in your PS6. Both consoles will also use AMD's Radiance cores for ray tracing and path tracing, with next-gen AI upscaling and multi-frame generation built in. Think PSSR 3 on the PS6 and AMD's FSR Diamond, aka FSR Next, on Xbox. I mean, this stuff has been a game changer, not only on PC games with, NVIDIA RTX DLSS upscaling, but we've even seen with PSSR on PlayStation, even the jump from the first to the second generation version. Not only are we getting significantly better frame rates, but actually even better visual quality, image quality with PSSR 2 versus the native image quality. So I think with dedicated hardware that can take advantage of the next version, PSSR 3, even if the raw horsepower of the next-gen consoles maybe isn't as exciting as previous generations have been, it's this AI upscaling, this multi-frame generation that I think is going to make the biggest difference to having a properly next-generation gaming experience. Well, I say next-gen, closer to high-end current PC games. I think we'll still be targeting 4K 60 for the most part, which is good, but if you're an enthusiast PC gamer, playing at 60 FPS is fine, but it's not exactly the smoothest, best gaming experience. Any PC gamer wants at least, 120, 144 Hz, and with more and more TVs now supporting 120, 4K 120, I'm hoping with that AI upscaling, with the frame generation, we may see the PS6 Project Helix actually give us some proper 4K 120 gaming options. I mean, it's not the game-changing difference that going to SSDs were with the current generation of consoles, but if we can get a lot of games to go from 60 to 120, that is at least still a meaningful difference. In fact, Epic's unveiling of the new Unreal Engine 6 with this next-gen Rocket League demo is maybe the closest we've seen to a proper next-gen console preview. So I think the biggest next-gen leaps will come from high refresh rate options, extra ray tracing and path trace effects thanks to a ton of AI upscaling and also the extra AI-generated frames, and maybe new ecosystem options or the flexibility Project Helix will give you from running Windows. But what about handhelds? Both Xbox and Sony are reported to be working on their own handheld gaming consoles, because I think the handheld gaming market, particularly if you have a nice dock like we do with the Nintendo Switch, to turn your handheld gaming experience into a proper living room experience, could be huge and actually give us a meaningfully different gaming experience rather than just another console that costs far too much money that gives you slightly better ray tracing and a higher frame rate. My concern here though is that even mid-range PC gaming handhelds are approaching £1,000, $1,000. So how on earth is that going to be affordable? There is another option though, and you are going to roll your eyes at this: cloud streaming. I mean, the PS Portal has actually been pretty successful and only costs us a couple of $100. If PlayStation or Xbox were to give us a cloud streaming box, small, cheap, but for streaming only, that can also maybe double as a nice media hub, assuming you have a fast enough and stable enough internet connection, if you don't want to spend $700-800 on a new console, but you could spend $200 to $250 on a really nice cloud streaming box to give you an optimized Xbox cloud gaming experience on your TV. I think for casual gamers, that could be pretty cool. Can we talk about games though? What actual next-gen games can we look forward to? Well, next-gen. I think what that really means is enhanced current-gen games. Number 1, GTA 6. How could this not be number 1? I am really looking forward to getting back into Vice City after a quarter of a century, believe it or not. And I will certainly be buying this for my PS5 Pro when it launches in November. And hopefully it gets a free next-gen enhanced patch a year later. Number 2, The Witcher 4, due next year, and this looks epic. It's still running on UE5, but we're looking at a huge open world that looks properly next-gen. Surely The Elder Scrolls 6 will be a next-gen game. It was announced 8 years ago, so by the time the new consoles come out, it'll be nearly 10 years since they teased that The Elder Scrolls 6 was in development. Now, Gears of War E-Day is a current-gen game, but as a hero first-party game for Xbox, I would be amazed if this didn't have a day one enhanced patch for the next console. And Marvel's Wolverine looks pretty good as well. Clockwork Revolution is an entirely new IP, and I think it looks great. It's giving steampunk RPG Bioshock, with finally some realistic British accents.
We're not here for you.
Not here for me. I'm Anne
Cool, blimey.
Darrow.
That is what we sound like.
What a proper little villain.
A better villain than you'll ever be, you decrepit old soak.
The bottom line though is Xbox have their work cut out. We are getting next-gen consoles late next year, AMD hardware, and an awful lot of AI upscaling. That's what we can look forward to. The question to you though is, what would make you want to buy a new console? What could they offer with the PS6, the Project Helix, to make you spend that kind of money and upgrade? Let me know in the comments below. Oh, and one last thing, just for fun, I asked ChatGPT to make me some ludicrous PS6 and Project Helix spec sheets, and it did not disappoint. I'm looking forward to my crown of focus, my quad-dimensional cooling system, and also a mini fusion reactor. Maybe we'll have this by the time GTA 7 comes out.